This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here September 22nd for our regular council meeting. We're going to do quick introductions, then we'll start the ball. We have with us Councillor Janine Boulanger,
Good evening, everybody.
Councillor Curtis Clayton,
Hi, Ron. Good evening.
Councillor Ron Mamchuk,
Good evening, everyone.
Councillor Shane Pelletier.
Hi, everyone.
We have with us our CEO, Mitch Duval.
Evening.
In the background, our planning officer, Tanya Waddell.
Hello.
And myself, Mayor Chris Ewan. So I will go through how everything works once we get to the public hearings. Usually I do it before, but I think to be quicker, we will just get right into it. So without further ado, I will call the meeting to order. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Councillor Pelletier seconds. Council, please cast your vote if there's no discussion.
Vote is carried 5-0.
We'll open the meeting at 7:01 p.m. Item 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Councillor,
Thank you. Second by Councillor Boulanger.
yes.
Any additions or changes to the agenda from council?
Not here.
Okay, cast your vote, please. And just while we're doing that, I did forget to say that we will be voting online, and the CEO will be reading out the votes, so there won't be a hand raise or anything. Thank you.
The vote is carried 5-0 for the agenda.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of minutes. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you.
Last meetings, we had a regular council meeting in the morning of September 8th, whereby the third reading of the parking bylaw was given. Public Works also assumed some new infrastructure that was approved by council. Council also made a donation to the Stars Air Ambulance Service. The council also appointed a architect / designer for the Ile des Chênes Park design. Also authorized a disc golf in the community of Saint Adolphe. In the evening, we had a special council meeting on September 8th. That meeting was regarding a zoning amendment in Ile des Chênes, and that was given third reading.
Thank you. Council, do you have any comments or changes or questions?
Not here.
Not here.
Okay, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 4. This is labeled differently. 4.1 committee reports by Councillor Mamchuk. Or Mr. CEO, am I doing them both at the same time?
We will do them both at the same time. It was just a matter of trying to put them on the agenda properly. So council will be voting on item number 4.
Okay, thank you.
So as such, we have a Councillor Mamchuk's report regarding the Seine Rat Roseau watershed and a bunch of attachments related to the Seine Rat Roseau watershed as well. Also, Councillor Clayton provided us a report on the St. Agathe CDI, the Red River Weed Control District, as well as the Community Futures RRR.
Thank you. So I appreciate that, Mr. CEO, but we do need a mover for item 4. Do I have a mover? Councillor Clayton, second.
Councillor Boulanger.
Thank you. Any questions in regards to those reports?
I just wanted to highlight one thing in my report.
Go ahead.
St. Agathe is we're having our Cheyenne Summerfest parade this Saturday. Starts at 5 o'clock. So just want to invite council, if you have nothing to do, to come visit us.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
For sure. And the St. Agathe CDI held their golf tournament last weekend. I was there with our deputy mayor and also public works manager and our EDO, and it was a great time. It was at Kingswood. I think we had 127. They had 127 golfers. So
nice.
Good to see everyone together.
Excellent. Thank you. No other comments or questions. Council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 5.1, accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Counselor Mamchuk,
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
One batch, batch 15247 in the amount of $12,128.72. The big ticket item there was the STARS donation of $10,000 that was made. Other than that, nothing else to report in that batch.
Thank you. Council, do you have any questions or comments?
Right here.
Down here.
None here.
Cast your vote. Councillor Mamchuk, are you still with us?
yes.
Okay, I just don't see on the screen, so
Oh, I just shut the camera off. Is that okay?
that's fine. No, I worried about you.
Thank you.
The vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Item 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Counselor
Councillor
Mamchuk,
Boulanger?
Councillor Mamchuk moves, second by Councillor Belanger.
Two batches, batch 15245 in the amount of $187,793.89, and batch 15255 in the amount of $70.62. In the large batch, please refer to the CFO's report regarding that batch. Basically deals with GFL payments, Proline painting, a John Deere wing assembly, as well as some road reconstruction costs in that batch.
Thank you. Council, do you have any comments or questions?
not here.
No, please cast your vote. Getting a bit of a distortion from one of the either councillors or CO. Is anyone else hearing that? No?
No.
Okay, maybe it's just me. I'm losing my mind.
The vote is carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Item 5.3, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
This is in regards to payroll 19, dated August 29th to September 11th. Just for council's information, this is going to be the last payroll for the green team staff. So they are now back at university or post-secondary education levels. Some public works overtime due to the construction season, as well as admin in regards to planning and building inspections, still very busy on that front.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Council, do you have any questions, comments? Seeing none, please cast your vote.
The vote is carried 5-0. I just want to make the comment to council that I've asked our CFO, Thomas Thompson, to come September 30th, produce a third quarter financial update status for all department heads and for council, as well as a status of bank time and vacation time, so that way the managers can address those if there's an issue. So that is going to be in the works.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. We are on to public hearings now. So before I get them started, I'll just give a quick rundown on how they will work for this evening, because everything is virtual with an opportunity for in-person if anyone is in the chambers. So when I open the public hearing, I will ask anyone wishing to speak in favor in person, and then they will let me know if there's anyone in person at council chambers, and then I will go to anyone online or on the phone, and then that is your time to say if you are in favor, and you would turn your camera on, and then you would turn your microphone on and just let us know that you'd like to speak, and then I will I will give you the mic, and then we will go through that, and then we will go to anything received in favor. Then we will switch over to anything, again, anyone wishing to speak against in person. Again, we'll look at the chamber, see if there's anyone there. If not, we'll go to online or on the phone. We'll let you have your say. Make sure you turn on your camera and your microphone, letting us know you'd like to speak. And then we will ask if there's anything received against. We will read those, and then I will give it one last call for any general comments or opposition or people wishing to speak in favor pertaining to the hearing. So without further ado, we will start with the first one, 6.1.1 V12-2021 Hagenars 2701 Halima Drive.
The proposal is to vary the following: the maximum height of an accessory building from 17 feet to 23 feet for the purpose of a detached garage. 2, the minimum distance between buildings from 8 feet to 6 feet for the purpose of a detached garage. 3, minimum southeast yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet for the purpose of a detached garage. 4, to allow an accessory structure, pool, in the front yard rather than the required rear yard. And 5, that the front yard setback from 75 feet to 50 feet for the placement of an above ground pool. Just a note for council that we have received a withdrawal on number 1 regarding the height of the accessory building, and that will be built into the resolution that I will read later. So we will not address number 1 in the public hearing. Notices for this public hearing has been sent per the Municipal Act to 100 meters of said property, as well as sent to the McDonough-Richot Planning District, the Richot Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CEO, and Fire Chief. It was also posted on site, posted on our municipal window, municipal website, and a connect message was also sent out.
Thank you, Mr. CAO. I will open the public hearing at 7:12 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? In person, sorry. Anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Tanya, just is there anyone at council chambers at this moment at all?
Yes, there is.
There is. Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Okay, was there anything received to speak in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Thank you. Is there anyone in person wishing to speak against?
Yes, there is.
Mr. Chairman, esteemed
Yes.
members of council, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wayne Hadfield. My wife Lois and I have resided on Burrard Bay for the last 35 years. This area was originally the additional zone to the city of Winnipeg, and this development was created then by the city. Some of the lots are irregular in shape, size, etc., this being one. In the document supplied with the proposal was a sketch of the property. As this is not an engineer's stamp drawing, I see some complications. Firstly, there are no dimensions shown for the perimeter of the lot, nor is the sketch drawn to any scale. Therefore, it is difficult to determine where things are in relation to the perimeter, that being the lot lines. With respect to access to the property, there presently exists a driveway which exits on the south directly onto Halama, which is PTH 300, which such direct access is generally discouraged. Does that mean that the front access will be closed and a new access be installed to meet up with the east side of the garage as shown on the sketch? There is no man door shown on the sketch, which may only be an oversight. I presume that because the existing garage has been disassembled already, that the plan is to erect a new one on the existing concrete pad. To meet today's current specifications, that would have to be a thickened edge pad on a compacted face. Specifications for that would be available from the municipal office. There is no reference to the location of the well or the septic field. Following the 1997 flood, the house was raised, which was to correct foundation damages and replace concrete blocks. At the same time, the septic system was dug up and repaired. Provincial requirements for septic field and well is 2 acres. You should not or cannot drive over a septic field in the winter, as the frost will go down 6 or 7 feet. So where is that situated on the lot? Where is the access for the septic pump out located? The next issue is that of the utilities. There are overhead wires which carry the power for the whole bay. Next is the telephone feed lines which run along the south side of that property as well for the whole bay. The sketch does not identify where the gas comes into the house or across the property. At the time Burrard Bay was repaired and paved, an illegal wooden crossing which spanned the ditch was removed, and a gravel crossing was installed across the north ditch. As the entire flow of drainage water is conducted through the culvert on the north side of the cul-de-sac, attention must be given to the weight of loads transgressing that crossing to avoid collapse of the culvert. Presuming the garage will be 2-story, it is the intent to be used to house a business or families or what is to be stored, if that be the case, in that building. When that question was asked at the municipal office, I was told maybe storage. Storage of what? Because in the next part of the application, you are asked to vary from 8 feet to 6 between buildings, which would be hazardous in the event of a fire. I don't think I need to remind you that we already had one fire, which is just a couple of doors down Holloman in the winter. I believe this issue should be taken up with the Office of the Fire Commission for a ruling. With respect to setbacks for the southeast side yard, it appears, according to the sketch, that access to the proposed new garage would be from the east. Without the sketch identifying the distance to the property line on the east side, you cannot visualize how you could negotiate entry, and a permanent crossing would have to be installed to access off Burrard Bay. We fail to see any reason why a pool in the front yard of any residence would be aesthetically pleasing, as would be were it to be in the back, which is customary, provided that all requirements would be met. We therefore suggest the variation be disapproved, or at least until requirements be met. Regulation for the building would be addressed with the building permit application process. Signed, Wayne Garth Hatfield.
Thank you, Mr. Hatfield. I appreciate that. I believe, Mr. CEO, there's also a letter which is the exact same one that was read from Mr. Hatfield. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. Hatfield, are you okay if we go ahead and not read the letter again that was submitted? I'll take that as a yes. So we won't read the letter again as it was just read. Was there anyone else wishing to speak against online or online or on the phone?
Or maybe another one in person.
Or sorry, is there anyone else in person wishing to speak against? Thank you, Mr. CEO.
No, there is not.
Thank you. At this time, I maybe we can address that letter if administration or council has any answers from the letter. Mr. CEO, do you have anything to comment on or?
I can. I think what I'll do is I'll turn my camera on for the purpose. Okay. So I've taken Mr. Hadfield's letter and broken it down into segments as to his notes here. So basically, there's no dimensions shown for the perimeter lot, nor is it on the sketch drawing to any scale. When people apply, they usually try to do, unfortunately, the least amount as possible in case that it is not approved. However, when construction, if council would grant the application, the variation, our building inspector would ensure that a proper site plan would be provided, a building surveyor certificate would follow to ensure that all the minimum standards that have been granted or would be granted by council would show up on paper. I can't comment on the man door. That's just one of those paper napkin drawings again that is not there. This is, as Mr. Hadfield alluded to, an older lot zoned from the city of Winnipeg back in the day. So there are those irregular lots, this one being at a corner lot. So I believe the location of the well and the septic field are in the northeastern corner, away from where the construction is proposed. So nothing would be developed on there. Where the septic pump out intake is, I don't know, but I'm sure that we could make a note and ensure that the septic trucks have accessibility for this purpose. The issues regarding the phone lines, hydro wires, et cetera, again, that's all part of the construction, the call before you dig program. If anything is hit or accidentally nicked, it is the property owner's responsibility to ensure that safety measures are taken. The two-story garage, I addressed that earlier. The height of the garage is still going to be 14 feet as per the revised garage plan. So I don't believe there's going to be too much as far as storage up in the attic of that garage. And the pool, basically just because of the configuration and trying to put that recreational use in the backyard where the septic, that won't work. So therefore requesting council to put it in the front yard. It is odd, but given that it's a corner lot, it could be deemed as a front yard or a side yard, depending how you want to look at the access. I also believe that Mr. Hadfield had a question on access. The one off of Burnett would still remain in place as per my understanding, whereby it would be used only by visitors, and that'd be pretty much it. The other one would be off of Burrard, and there is one there right now that apparently was installed by Public Works many years ago. So it is set to the proper grade. Any collapse of the culvert would be the responsibility of the homeowner to replace if and when that happens. And I think I've addressed all the comments in Mr. Hatfield's letter.
Mr. CEO. I will ask if there was anything else, if there was anything else submitted against.
Nothing else received.
Received, thank you. Okay, I will give it one last call. If there's anyone wishing to make a general comments, speak in favor or against, or questions to council or admin at this time pertaining to this hearing.
Sorry, I misunderstood. You're saying, can council ask questions now or not yet?
Are you looking to ask questions to the person writing the letter, or are you looking to get more information in regards to the application?
Well, it's very unfortunate the Hagenars are not present because I do have a few
Okay.
questions for them.
Yeah,
So
Councillor
I
Blanc,
guess,
yeah, Councillor Blanger, they are actually here, and I think they want to speak. So did you want to wait until?
Oh. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I think it's Mr. Rick Hagenars. Did you want to say something? Your internet is very
It's
bad.
a wonderful Grand Point internet.
Yeah. Mr. Hagenar, did you want to turn off your camera and it'll probably work better. Just keep your mic on. Can you go ahead and speak now? Just testing your mic. We don't hear you at all, Mr. Hagenar. We hear sounds, just no voice. Come towards the microphone. We can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now? Can you see me okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Shall I get you just turn off your camera at this point right now so we can deal with this application?
Oh, you can now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead. I can't hear you now.
All right. Thank you, council, for having me and hearing this application.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for hearing me out today, guys. Just wanted to address a couple of the points that was brought up by Wayne, by my neighbor. Yeah, we had an old garage that was on the lot. Yeah.
I believe we lost you again.
Maybe turn off your camera, Rick. Can you turn your camera off? That's too bad.
Okay, we're having some serious tech difficulties thanks to the Grand Point ward. So, Mr. CEO or Tanya, is there a way to contact Rick and call him?
Yeah, just phone in. Exactly. That'd be better.
Disconnect
I'll go
him.
grab my phone.
Thank you. And can we remove him from the call so we're not lagging still here? Rick, if you hear us, we're going to try and connect you through phone call instead of internet. Okay, he disconnected.
He has just left. Let's take a 2-minute break and hopefully Mr. Hagenas could come back online.
Thank you. We'll keep the public hearing open and we'll take a two-minute session. Thank you. Council, just turn off your mics and your video, please.
Sorry, I just got here. Did you guys already address 330 Hebert Street?
No, not yet, Shelley.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
So we're just taking a 2-minute break. Looks like Rick is caller number 2 now.
Perfect, thank you. Council, if you want to jump back on with your screens, we'll start getting ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Rick, you can hear us, we can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Look at
Perfect.
that.
Thanks.
Old school technology wins again.
Yeah, and it's a Shaw technician here, and of course I got to go old school here. You think the internet would work?
We will start the discussion again in 1 minute, Rick. We're just going to get people ready to listen in again.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, is all council ready? Just give me a quick yes or thumbs up.
Yes.
Administration is ready.
Yes.
Thank you. And the public hearing is still open. So I believe that Rick, you were going to speak, or Mr. Hagnar.
Yep, that works. Thank you
Go
very
ahead.
much, and for getting me back on the line here and giving me another chance to talk. Yeah, so I just wanted to address a few things for anybody, maybe directly to Wayne, just for any concerns. As mentioned, we did remove the variant for the height. My wife and I realized we wanted to keep everything, kind of kosher and with the same look of the rest of our neighbors. Didn't want to make anything stood out too much. The garage itself, we don't have a lot of detailed plans, as mentioned before, until we need to provide them, which we can. We'll provide those, but the garage in itself current pad is being demolished. The whole lot is being brought up to level and grade so that the new garage will match where the house is at currently. And the placement of the garage will be matched up so that it's in line with the house versus the actual setback. So visually, it'll keep the same lines. In terms of the approaches, one of the reasons we decided to do a kind of a rear to east approach onto Burrard versus off the main highway, mainly for safety reasons for both myself, wife, my 2 daughters who are 10 and 12, who will be driving in future years, but leaving it open for visitors and delivery people, not looking to change anything with regards to tax purposes for where our entry is. In fact, we're just looking to mirror what our neighbors across the street from 2707 Halima have, which is basically an abandoned front approach and a side approach, which has been created for ease on Burrard Bay. The pool, yes, very awkward spot. As mentioned, the only reason we're putting it there was partially because of the size of the lot, location of setbacks, side lot property, back lot. Septic field is in the back, northwest corner, so we have to stay away from that completely. And when they were refinishing Burrard and redoing all the ditches and culverts in there, I had mentioned it to the Public Works while on site, and they had gladly did the approach according to spec and to what the code is for materials and even the width of the approach. That's basically it. We know it's, big changes there, but otherwise we're trying to keep the garage as similar as it was, but just up to code so it matches the neighborhood, and an aesthetic fence to help surround that pool, which is not only just for safety, but will be like the rest of the lot kept up and trying to look good for the rest of the neighbors. So that's my piece. Thank you for your time, council, and for anybody else listening into the meeting today.
Thank you, council. At this time, if you have any questions to ask, you may do so.
Yes, I have a few questions, if I may. It's for Mr. Hagnar. I hope I'm saying that right. I drove by there today just to check it out, to see what situation is. So I did see them demolishing the pad of the existing garage. So I think that was one of Mr. Hadfield's concerns, that it was going to be built with a thickened edge slab and be sufficient. And so I'm assuming that whatever you do is going to be structurally sound, because you'll have to get a permit for that, which involves drawings and the whole thing. So correct. I think that's okay. I think that's covered. Yeah. As far as the approach goes, that whole ditch that was put in was with LDS, I believe. So I didn't see a culvert under your driveway because the LDS probably goes under your driveway. Is that correct? Do you know that?
We would have to talk to, I believe, John. I think it is from Public Works. He was the one on site. So when they were doing all the approaches for the other neighbors up Burrard, they would have mimicked exactly how they did it there. So if they did a conversion from metal to the I guess the reinforced plastic, we want to call it, they would have done. But I didn't personally watch. I just know they knew the request I had at the time and what the future needs would be for weight and whatnot.
Okay. It just looked really low. I didn't know if that was the final driveway
No,
or if you have any
they're bringing
plans.
everything's coming up to make it for proper height and drainage.
The driveway is?
Yeah, on the side,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Even the front's going to be brought up a little bit and leveled off as well because it's rolling and shifted over the years.
Okay. Question about the garage, the new garage. What is your intended use for that garage?
2 cars, maybe a riding lawnmower if I decide to purchase one. And
So, but no business, no body shop going on in there, no nothing like that, right?
No, not like the previous tenant who used to keep antique cars and finish them on the lot. No, I do not hop stuff out of there like anybody else. I keep some tools for projects on the property, but that's it.
Okay. And I think the last one, the 6 foot beside the house, you know, the minimum is 8, so that could come up when you go for your permit. I guess the only option is to reduce your garage, or I'm not sure, or build a firewall on that wall. So that's not really a question.
Yeah,
I think that's all I needed.
And that's a good one actually to bring up. Our current house to okay, so from the side property to the garage, it's going to stay the same as what our original garage was. So that's not changing. The distance between our house and the garage was only 4 feet at the time. So we're trying to buy back space to get closer to code, but still be allowable to get 2 vehicles into the garage.
Okay, super. Thank you. I'm so glad.
So to add, which maybe wasn't in the drawing, to help answer the question about the man door, there'd be 2 overhead doors heading out towards, I guess, the back of the property with the entry onto Burrard. And then at the front facing, which is what you would see from the front street, there actually will be the man door on that side, closer to the front door, and as well as a utility, like lawnmower style door coming out the front.
Okay, perfect. I thank you for joining online because that clears everything up. Thanks.
No, I appreciate it. It's an odd project, so I really appreciate I got help from the office there, and I ran it by Louis and by Tanya, and they kind of scratched their heads, but they got back to me with some answers to help move this along. So I thank them as well.
Thank you very much. Councillor Belanger, you're good?
Well, I have another question, but I don't think it's for Mr. Hagener. It's more of a staff question, I guess, about the site coverage. It looks like your site is pretty full. Yeah, I know we have a percentage of site coverage minimum requirement, so I just want to know if this pool now takes into account of the overall site coverage, and if he's within that, or are we over?
Mr. Seal?
I will defer that to Tanya from planning.
Thank you. Mrs. Tanya from planning?
Hi. I believe we have done an amendment to the zoning bylaw where the pool does not count towards the site coverage anymore. It's just buildings.
Because it's an above ground and it's a temporary structure, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will double check and we will make sure that it complies, but yeah, from off the top of my head, that's what I remember.
Okay, thank you. I'm good.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else from council?
Nothing.
Nope. Is there anyone else wishing to say any final comments in favor or against, or general questions, in person or online at this time?
There is in person.
Yes, go ahead.
Wayne Hatfield. I have several photos here, and I found it interesting when I downloaded this. seems to be 3 or 4 different addresses, like we have the one on Holloman, but also we have 1956 Burrard Bay, and we have 1966 Burrard Bay. I don't know what that's about, but it's unusual. The reason why I included some of these photos was to show you what was there before was supposed to be for detailing, and there was everything took place there, and these cars were all going to be restored one day, and it never happened. So I want to commend the present tenants for the way they've looked after the property. It's been a real boost. I've been here many variations. When I commented about the water going through the culvert, the water from the south side of Burrard Bay travels east, and then it goes over to the other side, to the north side of the ditch, and then it goes down to in front of the 2701 here, and it joins up with the water coming down from the development further to the south. And if you look, the one picture here shows a couple of driveways up there. There's 3 driveways that come into Holloman, right in that, that's 3 driveways beside this one that accesses right onto Holloman. So I have a little bit difficulty reading. I just had a couple of laser surgeries, so the other photo that I include for you here, for the members that might not have seen this, shows the old approach, which interfered with the maintenance department for snow clearing and for grass cutting. I appreciate you letting me bring this forward, and the purpose of it is certainly not to make matters difficult for our neighbors. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
You're very welcome, Mr. Hatfield, and I just want to say that we welcome anyone wishing to speak in favor and against on anything. It always brings light to council's decision-making ability. So again, thank you very much, and don't ever hesitate to come to many more variations. Is there anyone else, final count, wishing to say anything, in person, online? Okay, I will close the public hearing at 7:45 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Belanger.
Councillor Belanger moves, second by Councillor Mamchuk, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Resolution would read, therefore be it resolved that variation application V12 2021 to vary the following items. Number 1, the minimum distance between buildings from 8 feet to 6 feet for the purpose of a detached garage. 2, minimum southeast side yard setback from 15 feet to 6 feet for the purpose of a detached garage. 3, to allow an accessory structure pool in the front yard rather than the required rear yard. And 4, front yard setback from 75 feet to 50 feet for the placement of an above ground pool. Is approved subject to the following conditions. 1, that yard drainage shall not be affecting adjacent properties. 2, the applicant must obtain building permits from the municipality for the swimming pool and garage and provide necessary plans for permit approval. Be it further resolved that the portion of variation application V12 2021 to vary the height of an accessory building from 17 feet to 23 feet for the purpose of a garage is denied.
Thank you. I will open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to start or say?
I just have one concern about us approving the 8 foot to 6 feet between buildings. I'm not sure that's in our position to do that. It might be a code fire hazard. Can we put something, maybe a condition on that variation?
I believe we can, Mr. CEO.
Pending approval from the fire commissioners or whoever, or from our building inspector, or is it already covered somewhere?
I think I would leave it as status quo because you're going from 8 feet to 6 feet. Council's duty is to set out the conditions. It's up to administration and the applicant to adhere to whatever codes may be implicated by these changes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. That's everything, Councillor Boulanger.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Anyone else on council? No.
Not near.
Council, please cast your vote.
The vote is carried 4-1. Councillor Mamchuk voted against.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6.1.2 V3-2021 Arm of Richot sign.
The proposal is for a following freestanding digital sign, the maximum height from 8 feet to 14.59 feet, and maximum depth from 12 inches to 33.25 inches. Very precise. Again, notice have been sent to 100 meters of said property, as well as sent out to the McDonald-Richot Planning District, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CAO, Fire Chief, posted at the municipal office on our windows, posted on the municipal website, also posted at the St. Adolphe Case and ESSO, as well as a connect message has been sent out.
Perfect. Thank you. I will open the public hearing at 7:49 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there's not.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online? Is there anything received?
Nothing received except MI's permit.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is not.
Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Thank you very much. One last call. General comments to speak in favor or against. Going once, going twice. I'll close the public hearing at 7:50 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Councillor Pelletier.
Therefore, be resolved that variation application V13-2021 be approved with the following conditions: that the sign and surrounding area must be maintained so it does not become unsightly. And I'll ensure it is done.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, did you have anything to add? I think maybe just general knowledge. I did receive a couple text messages and questions. What exactly is this sign for? I think it's for the spreading the good word of Richot and all things that surround it, opportunities that are going on in the community. Any certain days we need to maybe observe or recognize, and be it garbage day or tax day, which we don't want to forget, right? So just things like that. And people, I believe Mr. CEO can get an opportunity to put a message on as long as it's appropriate and done so in the right time. If they're a community group of some sort.
Yes, we will need to think this through as far as a policy goes as to what will go on those signs.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, I won't have any opportunities to put anything I want on that sign, but the admin will take care of that. Okay, nothing from council. I think this is good to go. We will cast our votes.
I just want to say that the library is excited because they're going to take advantage of this. So
yes, this is something when I was on that board as well, we were looking at doing in St. Adolphe, so I'm glad we're seeing some movement in that. Okay, go ahead, council, cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you very much. 6.1.3 V14-2021 Manus 231 Prairie Road.
proposal is to vary the maximum site coverage for a greenhouse from 40% to plus or minus 53%. Again, according to the Planning Act, notices were sent out to 100 meters of the said property, as well as the McDonald Regional Planning District, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Councillor, CEO, Fire Chief. Was also posted at the Case Provencher in Saint Agathe and the Dépanneur Cheyenne in Saint Agathe, as well as the municipal office windows, municipal website, and connect message was sent out.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 7:52 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Matt Manis.
That was Sean Crew, actually, Chris.
Oh, Sean, sorry, I just saw a video pop up there. Go ahead there, Mr. Sean Crew.
Yeah, no, I thank you, council, for letting me have a word, but I just want to encourage you to vote in favor of Mr. Manis's proposed business to go into the Riel Industrial Park. And I'm not sure if Matt wanted to speak to it at all, but I believe he's applied for a variance to move from a building size of 40% of the property up to 53%.
Perfect. That's everything, Mr. Crew?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online? I did see a video pop up from Mr. Manis. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, if I could. Good evening, council. Thanks for taking the time tonight. I'll be quick because I want to respect your guys' time, and feel free to ask any questions about this. I think we're sitting on the edge of a great opportunity in southern Manitoba here to lead the edge of what might be the next multi-billion-dollar industry in Canada, and that's food production out of season. Right now, I'm working on a proprietary greenhouse design that we believe can lower the carbon footprint of fresh food on our store shelves in the winter, can increase the quality of out-of-season produce here, and create more high-level jobs. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Just need a little bit of compromise to kind of make the startup economics work a little bit better. So, we're shovel ready, and with your blessing, can't wait to start. So that's my piece.
Thank you very much. Always great to see opportunistic and thriving entrepreneurs create something in and around Red Shot. So hopefully it goes well. Council, do you have any questions to ask?
Yeah, I just got a quick question for Mr. Manis. I'm just looking at the site plan, and you've got phase 2 for the expanded greenhouse. You've got phase 3 for the office, but I'm missing phase 1. Is it a smaller size greenhouse to get started?
Yeah, the plan is to do a 450 square meters, so about 4,500 square foot this fall. And that's really just to do with timing. There's not enough time to do the full thing before it frees up. But I think we're sitting on the edge of, like I say, a great opportunity where you've got a great hunger from the market, whether it be COVID or just kind of the local food initiatives that have been going on for the last few years and growing. I don't want to let that opportunity slip by. So what I'd like to do is kind of start up in a smaller scale this winter, what I can do before it frees up, and then we'll expand next year into what is a more economical size.
Sure. Okay, thank you for that. And I know in your, I think it was in the business plan, you just talked about the lighting inside the greenhouse. So I think it's with the heat shields. I can't remember what the actual term was there, but basically the amount of light will be reduced in evening. I mean, you'll be close to the highway and close to residential as well.
Yeah, the intent would be use thermal blankets essentially is what they're usually referred to as. So the thermal blankets keep kind of all light in, beyond little cracks here or there. But it also, the real intent is to hold the heat in. And that's one of the things that makes this style of greenhouse more efficient. You got 2/3 of the day is dark. You don't really want to be letting heat out through glass at that time.
Okay, that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Clayton. Anyone else from council?
Yes, I have a question, if I may. I know when we were talking about this in planning, we were talking about the size of the lot and about how it's taking up the larger part of the lot. But Is it my understanding that there are other lots in the industrial park that are available that would be maybe better suited for it? Or I guess my question to you, Mr. Manis, is have you considered the other lots, and why did you zone in on this lot? And probably for economics, I guess, but just if you've considered other lots just to make everything work a little bit better.
Yeah, I was actually working with Tanya, and the zoning isn't correct on the other lots. So I originally had planned on being in the back a bit more, but zoning required me to be up on the highway, basically. Only the front row of lots, commercial highway, I believe, is what they're zoned. Those are the only ones that allow greenhouses at all. It's an approved use on those lots. However, it's not approved or conditional on the other lots.
Okay.
Perfect. Anyone else from council? No? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Online or in person? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Mr. Cielo, I do see a letter of support from the St. Agatha CDI, unless that's a different thing I'm looking at.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the letter from the St. Agatha CDI is in support. It is from their president, Mr. Claude Lemoine. Basically, it is in full support as the proprietors of the Riel Industrial Park. CDI supports the applicant's request to increase the site coverage. They do not believe that this increase in site coverage will have a negative impact on the Riel Industrial Park and our current and future industrial park businesses. As we continue to grow, more jobs and opportunities are available to our residents. This is also providing more economic and residential development throughout our municipality. So my apologies for not capturing that. Thank you.
It's okay. I wanted to make sure it was in the camera there. Okay, last call. Anyone wishing to speak in favor or against, in person, online, or on the phone, or any general comments pertaining to this application?
Mr. Chair, I might have a question yet or two for the applicant before we close.
Okay, go ahead.
I know one of the concerns was the fact that this building will end up being Part 3, which goes to the RM of Hanover for the fire code. It's my belief that they would probably not approve this at the size requested. Has that been worked out yet at all?
Yeah, Mr. Manis, if you have any comment to that.
I don't yet have a comment on that. I know Sean was working a bit, and I've been discussing with Tanya and Lewis, and we'll kind of have to see where that one goes. If you want any more background on that, I'm more than willing.
Yeah, just to add to that, if I could, Councillor Pelletier, we need to have some further discussions with Hanover in this respect to see, what variations might be possible with the existing building code and the type of building that Mr. Manis is proposing right now. So it's ongoing at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from council?
Just to add to this discussion of the Part 3 building permit as well, I believe that our EDO and planning and I will be meeting on Friday to see if we could maybe introduce greenhouses into the manufacturing area and see what impacts that would have. Just to give Mr. Manis and the St. Agatha CDI more options as to placement of this greenhouse if council supports the idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council, anything? No,
I just want to strengthen that, what Mr. Duval said. Yes, it was a great support of the idea. There's just seems to be some tightness here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, final call, seeing none. I'll close the public hearing at 8:02 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councilor Mann.
Councillor Clayton moves, second by Councillor Mamchuk.
Therefore, be resolved that variation application V14 be approved with the following conditions. Applicant must obtain a building permit from the Armand-Richot office for the proposed office building. Submitted plans are to include detailed architectural drawings stamped by the engineer. Applicant must also obtain a development permit from the Armand-Richot for the proposed greenhouses. Submitted plans are included to detailed architectural drawings stamped by an engineer. Applicant must obtain a Part 3 building permit from the appropriate authority for any buildings that will be over the 600 square meters in size. The applicant must meet all requirement setbacks to comply with the appropriate building codes. And variation 14/2021 must be approved in order to obtain approvals for Part 3 building and development permits.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. CEO. We'll open it up for council discussion. Council.
Yeah, I'll just weigh in.
Go ahead, Councillor Clayton.
Yeah, no, you know, we convert a lot of AL land to, you know, to residential or to commercial, and it's kind of unique to see it in a way being brought back to AL, you know, potentially as you know, as a farm building as well. So, you know, for me, that's favorable. You know, it brings economic benefit to the community. You know, St. Augustus CDI is not for profit. I mean, any revenues that they generate go right back into our, you know, into our community to make it better. And, you know, maximizing the land usage, I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. I think it's favorable. You know, we've got you know, a 2.2 acre lot here, I think, and, you know, we've got about 1 acre that's going to be used as a greenhouse. So, in my opinion, this is a good fit.
Thank you, Councillor Clayton. Anyone else on council? No, council?
No. I'm
go ahead,
just
Councillor.
wanted to add, I'm excited for this project. I know staff's gonna work hard to make this work wherever that may be, on whichever lot. If we can't get around the hurdles for this one, I think there's nothing but great things with that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I concur. Yeah, it's a great project.
Perfect.
Yes, I concur as well.
Thank you. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
You council, we're okay to continue. Does anyone need a quick 1 minute or we're good?
I'm good.
Keep
Carry
moving.
on.
6.1.4 V15-2021 Sandale Automotive sign.
The proposal is to vary the maximum the proposal is to vary the maximum size of a mobile sign from 48 square feet to 96 square feet. Again, as per the Planning Act, notices were sent out to 100 meters of said property, as well as the Macdonald-Richot Planning District, the Richot Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CEO, and Fire Chief. It was posted on site on the municipal office window, municipal website, as well as a connect message sent out to everyone.
Thank you very much.
And I believe GHA was also notified of this matter.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 8:06 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Annie, is there anyone else in person in the chambers?
Yes, there is.
Thank you. Okay, just checking. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Thank you. Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Okay. Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Thank you. I'll give it one last call. If there's anyone wishing to make a general comment, speak in favor or against, online or in person. Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 8:08 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Blanchet.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
Therefore, it be resolved that variation application V15 2021 be approved with the following conditions. That the applicant must obtain a development permit from the Armor Richat for approval of the location of the temporary mobile sign. 2, the sign may only be displayed at this location for a period of 6 months, after which it must be moved to another approved location upon obtaining a new development permit. 3, that the sign and surrounding area must be maintained so that it does not become unsightly.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, anything to discuss?
I have a question for Mr. Duval. So it says for a period of 6 months, can he keep it in the same location and just apply again? Or is going to have to be a revolving 6-month application, or does it have to go to another location as it says?
I will let Tanya clarify the process.
I believe he can apply one more time for the same location for a new development permit. It won't go through variation again because if you approve this variation, it will not have to be varied again. It will just have to have a development permit through administration for approval for the location.
Okay, so do we have to vary how that's worded? Because it says that it must be moved. That's why I was just confused. It seems like a lot of work for 6 months.
In the zoning bylaw, it is temporary. A mobile sign is temporary and only allowed in the location for 6 months, so it will have to be reapplied. I think that, yeah.
Well, what's technically moving it though, right? 6 inches, 6 feet, 6 miles.
Exactly.
Right. So I think, if there's no havoc over the next 6 months, we can reevaluate it then and see what we have to do.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make a comment that I spoke to to Dale, sorry, about this sign, and he's really trying, as all businesses are, trying to muster up some exposure and business for that new development in the Grand. So I think this is a prime location. I think it'll be a good exposure for him, so.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that comment, Councillor Belanger. Anything else from council? No. Council, please cast your vote.
That's carried 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 6.2.1, 24-2021, Taïda, 330 Hebert Road.
The proposal is to allow a secondary suite in the residential general 8,000 square feet zone, RG8. Again, according to the Planning Act, notices were sent out within 100 meters of said property, as well as the McDonald Richat Planning District, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Councillor, CEO, and Fire Chief. It was also posted on the municipal board and municipal website. Also posted at the St. Adolphe case and the St. Adolphe ESO.
Very much. I'll open the public hearing at 8:11 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor online?
Do I talk now?
Yeah, if you have something to speak for, Shelley, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, I'm just The addition was put on 10 years ago. It was put on for my sister to move in because she had no home and she had kids, and so I built her a house. The plan was I was going to, after she moved out, because it's a single family dwelling unit, when she moved out, my daughter was going to live there permanently because it's like a duplex, but it's a single family unit. But my daughter died. So now I have a unit that is attached already here. It's been here for 10 years. And I just want to rent it out. That's all. Like, rent it to someone. It's rentable. It's a house. Like, it's 3 bedrooms. It's got its own kitchen, own central air, own hot water tank. And that was all approved 10 years ago. But it's a single dwelling. And I guess I need back then, 10 years ago, I asked for an occupancy permit for it. And they said that they didn't have those at that time. But now I'm told that there is something that I need for rentals. Rent it out. I'm not sure what it is, like a permit.
I appreciate that. Council, do you have any questions for the applicant at this time?
This is Costa.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Do you have someone living there right now or renting it right now?
There's someone in there now, but she is evicted, so she's leaving on the 28th of September.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Belanger?
Yes, just we've got a bunch of documents came with our package on this this topic. One of them was that there was an order to do a bunch of repairs, and it appears that those have not been done. So I guess my question is,
from the rental board you're talking about?
Yeah, tenancy branch repair orders. Yeah.
I don't have to do that field because it's a single family house. So they were considering it a duplex when they came here, and it's not a duplex. It's a single family unit. So half of the stuff on that was just complaints from my renter that I'm evicting. All those holes that she's complained about on there, those were holes that she made from domestic violence with her boyfriend. Like, she's saying that there's holes that needed to be repaired up the walls and on the doors needed repairing. She caused $6,000 damage in there, and I just can't wait for her to get out. She's been evicted, and there's an order for her to leave on the 28th. So she sent that to the rental board and all that stuff. Like, I mean, I've already, before she moved in, I actually had the building inspector out here to look at my house to see, because I can subdivide. And I was looking at subdividing and selling off that part of the house because I can subdivide here. And I looked all into the subdividing. It would cost me about $20,000 to renovate it and subdivide it and make it a duplex. I don't have $20,000 to do that right now. And I'm kind of just stuck with this rental unit, a house attached to my house right now, which it's always been rented. It's been rented since I built it. My sister now lives on Main Street. Municipality obviously knows I have it because I got extra garbage cans for my house for the rent unit. Like, I pay on my taxes extra for the garbage cans for her. So the rental board stuff, that's a whole big issue. It's all been dealt with through the rental board. And she was saying it's a duplex, which it's not. And she knew that when she moved in. I mean, they were saying put another entrance in and one of those things, but I don't need to put another entrance in a single family unit. She was saying that I blocked off the upstairs emergency exit, which there is no emergency exit upstairs. That is a balcony off my master bedroom, a screened in room. She has a back door and a front door. There is no emergency exit up there. That is a screened in patio off my bedroom so I can watch storms and smoke outside. So it has nothing, like all that stuff from the rental board, it's all been dealt with the rental board. So, and Louis was here before and he inspected it all right before she moved in, actually, because he was the one coming in to inspect it. One thing I know I need to put on is rails on the stairs. I don't have railings on the stairs going upstairs, and I know I have to put those railings on. They were talking about put eaves trough on part of my house for the foundation, the rental unit, but that really has nothing to do with my house, like with the rental board. They said, like, there's nothing that has nothing to do with them. So I'm not sure what she sent you. Erin McIntosh probably sent you like a stack of stuff, and it's because I evicted her. So you can believe what she said to you, or you cannot believe it because she's crazy, and that's all I can say.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, no, I appreciate the comments on that. I just, I would like confirmation before council goes ahead and does something they're not supposed to. So Mr. Teo, do we have any confirmation from the RTB if it does or does not need to happen pending another tenant moving in, or what's our role and obligation and duty as council to continue with this application?
I believe that's my cue. I think council's duty is to evaluate the application for what it is for a, let me go back here, to allow a secondary suite in a RG zone. All the matters that have been thrown around, he said, she said, I would leave that as much in behind as best as possible. The idea here is this council want to allow a secondary suite in an RG8, and if so, therefore it needs to be to code, and that's where Louis' job would come in and inspect the handrails or any other safety issues or anything related to being allowed to issue an occupancy permit for whoever does move in there.
Because it's just like, for me, it's like it's renting the basement. It's just on the side of my house. Like people in town rent basements out to everyone. So it's, instead of my basements, it's the side of my house that I'm renting. So I don't know, my renter in there right now is mad at me, so I can't really comment on her. It met code 2 years ago before she moved in, because he was here, and it met code except for the railings on the stairs I have to put. And I know I have to put those on. And I was gonna do it once she's out, because once she's out, like she calls the cops on me every day. So once she's out, then I'll put the railings on, because if I go in there, she's gonna say something.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. We won't dig too much into that as Mr. Teo has advised, but does council have any questions pertaining to the application itself for the applicant?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you Kelly, very much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online? You're received in favor. Shelley, I'll just get you to turn off your microphone.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anything received in favor, sorry?
Nothing received in favor.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Mayor and fellow council. My name is Erin McIntosh, and I am the current renter at 330 Hebert Road. I just wanted to inform you that I have won the rent hearing against Shelley Talio, and I have also gone as far as to do the RTB order because the house is not in livable like standards. I actually had to find out that there was black mold in the basement on the other side of the house, and the air quality was bad. So I was actually not notified of that in my mailbox or anything. As for the RTB order, which I've gotten, Shelley Talio was supposed to have everything done by October 15th, or pardon me, sorry, by September 15th. She had missed her dates to do an appeal, and she had missed her dates to apply for an extended time to apply for an appeal.
Actually, I just have to say something. That appeal.
Sorry, Shelley, this time we're listening to just the person speaking. You can say something afterwards. We're doing one at a time just to be respectful of the process. Go ahead, continue.
I'm actually very severely allergic to black mold, and my face has been blistering and such. And on top of that, there is no firewall in the center of separating the unit from her house, in which case there is an oxygen tank on the other side and they all smoke. So there are a lot of issues with passing to get this house zoned for renting. I've lived there for 2 years, and there was a gentleman that lived there for another year before me. So I find it interesting that, you know, she didn't know that she needed to have everything zoned properly and whatnot if renters have been renting for that long. So I just wanted to say my piece because I may not be a homeowner, but you know, I do live in the rental unit currently until next week on the 29th, not the 28th. And also with, you know, her having 6 dogs on the other side, it is very loud. I know, you know, there have been many noise complaints because of this issue as well. I just basically, I provided my information. I provided the copies of the RTB statement. I have provided copies of my lease and whatnot to prove that I've actually been there since 2019. And currently I'm at 106 days without my laundry facilities. So no clean clothes, no clean towels, no clean anything, bedding. You know, in which case this, you know, these things should be supplied if it's, you know, included in the rent. And I'm just worried that somebody else is going to move in there and they're going to have to go through what I went through. And now my whole face is scarred, my body is scarred and whatnot from the health safety in this location. So I very much wanted to speak loud and proud about that because I really just don't think anybody should have to deal with what I dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking. Is there anyone else in person wishing to speak against?
Can I just comment on her stuff?
No, once we'll do a round, Shelley, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
There is no one else wishing to speak against.
Okay, thanks. Council, sorry, I apologize. Did you have anything you wanted to ask the last speaker? Any questions? Nothing? Okay. Is there anyone, was there anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Is there anything received against?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Oh, hold on. Mr. Wisniewski?
Yeah, that's about as close as I usually get it.
Hi, man. Sorry, I try. Go ahead. The mic is yours.
Okay, so the one piece I could say in favor, it's sort of a lead into the remainder is, especially today, more housing is something that's always being spoken about. More housing also brings more people out to St. Adolphe. St. Adolphe is a very cute, quiet town. And it is one that we actually became homeowners a little over a year ago. And it's really a place that we're glad that we ended up. We've met a number of neighbors. We haven't yet met Shelley. But the thing about new housing, and it's something that's going on in the south side of town, is we have a big new development where more housing and multi-family structures and this and that. Like it's one that is definitely going to draw more people up to the town. And so it brings into question, why do we need to start changing the existing structures that we already have in town to accommodate more than just a single family dwelling? Further than that, having rented before we got into our house, we were one of the ones that went searching when the house market just started getting nuts, and we're glad that we got in when we did. But being a renter before, one of the largest and most important things to me was certainty of my living situation, and that deals with one, the suitability of the area, the quietness, my relationship with my neighbors even. That's something that it's nice to come home at the end of the day and walk in the door and actually have good neighbors that you have things to chat with about and not have weird things going on. And that's something that since moving in, I don't think I've ever seen so many RCMP cars, so many insurance restoration remediation vehicles. I've never seen a mold remediation vehicle, and that was an experience to see. It's a really really expensive looking vehicle to operate. But after hearing Aaron's portion, that was sort of an explanation as to why. The biggest concern I have, and it sort of ties back into the certainty of a living situation, and it comes into like reasonable knowledge of if you're going to have a rental suite, there's got to be a fair amount of hoops to jump through in order to have that type of accessibility and income using your own property. It's something that I'm not surprised that there's documents from the tenancy board and such, but it brings in the concern that I have is whether this is found in favor of or against. Sometimes consequences aren't enough to deter somebody's ongoing behavior of something that they've just found is acceptable through past acceptance. And that's one where really, like, if you were to deny this type of an application, how is there going to be a certainty of compliance that it's not followed through, that another renter isn't put into the same situation? The other portion of this where I have to disagree is Hebert Road in St. Adolphe is an attractive place. It's a nice street. There's a lot of kids that play here. We try and have slow traffic, but there definitely is some people that seem to think Hebert is a very fast road. It's a street that over the last year has attracted 5 new homeowners. Since we got here, we've seen 5 for sale signs, and my gosh, they don't even last on the market for, I think the longest was 3 weeks. And it's one that all these new homeowners that have come to this new neighborhood, to them, they bought seeing what they saw driving down the street, when they saw the house that they saw, and that's their expectation that, oh, this is a single family dwelling sort of area. Really on Hebert, the only place where we have structures that have more than one family is right at the entrance at Main Street in Hebert. And even those appear to be very well kept. It's one that I think when we start to get into an area where having a secondary suite with the intention of it being rented out, it starts to detract from the character appeal that the street already has. That's all I really have to add to this conversation.
I appreciate that, Mr. Wisniewski. Hopefully I did better there. Is there anyone else, or did council have any questions, sorry, before I move on for Garrett? Okay. Anyone else wishing to speak against? Okay, anything else received against? Mr. CEO, I know we went through that, but I just wanted to confirm.
We have 2 letters that are against, one from the person who had talked previously, Aaron McIntosh, another one from Kim Berry, which apparently is the neighbor. Due to the length, I just wish to maybe highlight some of the items of concern that were brought forward, more to do with the what the RM process should look at, and not the, again, the he said, she said scenarios. But in Mrs. McIntosh's letter, she does talk about the structural issues with stress cracks, fire safety being a concern, bodily safety, health safety, and personal safety, with also noise, which was already mentioned with the 6 dogs. In regards to Mrs. Berry's letter, that she's against that the area is zoned as single family, and that is why they bought the property back in 1985. Questions regarding taxation. Taxation is basically based on assessment, so the assessment branch would capture the value of that property. CRA is CRA, I'm not going to touch that one. Concerns regarding more noise from car doors and more traffic in the area. Concerns about unsightly premises, again with the noise and the dogs, and many repairs that would need to be met for code and human safety structural integrity. So that would summarize those two letters that I think council would need to address or look at.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Okay, we will go back for any general comments or anyone wishing to speak in favor and against. I believe Shelley, Ms. Taya, you did want to say something?
Yeah, I also have Paul here. He's a witness too. Just anything in regards to Erin McIntosh, I would just disregard, because me and her are in a fight right now currently because I've evicted her. Her kids have been taken by Child Family Services, and that's why she's mad at me.
Sorry,
On
Shelley,
top
just I'd like to just keep it pertaining to the conditional use application. I don't want any privacy laws broken. I don't want any legal issues happening. I want you to just focus on why you believe this is a benefit to you and the community.
Well, it's a benefit to me because I have rental income. If I don't have rental income in there, I'm going to sell and leave the community because I can't maintain it without having someone in there renting it. I didn't have, when I built it, I did not build it for the purpose of renting it. I built it for my sister, and she lived there. I lived here. She had no money. She was poor. She now has money, so she moved. My daughter was supposed to take it over when she was 18, but she died. So I have a structure. It's already built, so it's not making any difference to what the street looks like. There's always been a renter in there, whether it's my sister or whether it was another renter after. I've had 2 renters before Erin, not counting my sister, that have, there's no damage to that unit at all. When we're talking about mold in the basement that she keeps talking about, just in August, I had a leak in the basement. The ceiling collapsed. One of the pipes in the basement burst and the ceiling collapsed. So I had insurance people here, and she refused to allow them to go in the backyard because I have to give her 24 hours notice, and they had to come through that gate. So therefore, it took a week for them to get in to get the water out because of her. So therefore, there was mold in the basement of my house, which is there's a mold remedy. They have the room sealed off that had mold, and I don't know what they call it, but there's blowers in there and everything. So to deal with the mold, she would have nothing to do with the mold because her house is totally separate. She does not have a basement. She doesn't use a furnace. So the mold that was in my house would not have gone to her house because it's not the same furnace. We have different furnaces. So the mold, it was in this house. They did do mold check after this because this just happened in August. They came, they did the mold testing because I said it's moldy. I have lung cancer, emphysema. I have an immune deficiency, and asthma. So I said I need it checked because there's mold down there. So they brought in someone to check it. It was a little bit high, so they weren't sure what they were going to do. So then they cleaned out all the ducts, and they did something to the furnace, and they rechecked it, and it's fine. The levels are fine. We can live here. So I didn't tell her any of that because none of that had anything to do with my renter because that's a totally separate unit. So I don't know why she's even commenting on it because it wouldn't have anything to do with her. The next thing, and that mold in the basement just happened in August. When she's talking about no washer and dryer or no washer, that also happened after I evicted her. We were trying to get a dryer in there, and she would not let us go in there with her dryer. She wanted us to give her 24 hours notice, and every time I gave her 24 hours notice to bring the dryer in, it wasn't a day that worked for her, so I couldn't bring the dryer in. After about 3 weeks, I gave up trying, and I said, forget it, I'm not going in there anymore. I talked to the rental board. The rental board said that's fine. If she's not allowing you access, and I don't have keys to the unit because she's changed the locks, I can't do anything if she won't let me in. And the rental board knows that, and here's Paul. He can confirm that because he was here for all of that.
That is correct.
He can also confirm that the mold in the basement just happened in August when it collapsed, when the ceiling collapsed. So he can also confirm that. The noise on the street. I've lived here for 26 years in this house. Actually more, I think, since 1998 in this house. I love St. Adolphe. I love the street. I love the house I live in. I've always gotten along with my neighbors up until this incident. She's the only one I've had a problem with ever. And when I'm addressing this, I'm not sure what else she said. She said,
She doesn't even have a basement.
she's saying it's not safe and there's a fire hazard. It's been approved by the building inspector 2 years ago, right before she moved in. There's no holes in any walls. The place is totally livable. Any one of you can come and look at it. I have no problem with anyone coming and looking. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that suite except for what she's done damage-wise. There was probably once a week, there was cops called for domestic assault. They were here, like the one, I can't remember the gentleman that was talking, said that there's lots of police here. There's been domestic assault almost every week in that place where she's calling the police because she's getting beaten up. And her kids run to my house. I was actually her foster kids. I was her foster mom up until I evicted her. If her kids got taken, I was going to be the foster mom. So since I evicted her, she's trying to get everyone in town to hate me. She's posted everywhere on Facebook about what a terrible landlord I am. She's called the police almost every second day, which I can. There's Paul. He can tell you that because he's living here.
Okay, I'll just let's redirect this to what's on point to the conditional use. So Mr. CEO, were there any other things mentioned in any of the letters or anyone speaking against that pertain to the structural concerns or anything in that regard that Shelley would be able to answer for us?
I also have the building plans of that if they all want the big building plans that were done by the architecture.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You know, to have them all, so.
Yep. Mr. CEO, is there anything else that we haven't touched on that Shelley could answer?
No, basically the concerns that I read summarized the letters. Anything else is, to me, in my opinion, not related to the application itself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then at this time, Shelley, I think we're good and I appreciate it. I will ask if there's one, I'll give one last call. If there's anyone else wishing to speak pertaining to this conditional use hearing in person or on the phone or on the camera or online, sorry. Nope.
There is someone in person who has one more thing to say.
Okay, I will just please reiterate that council's here to discuss council topics and nothing more. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to mention one last thing that not one thing was fixed in there in the whole 2 years I've been there. I have been home. I've spent my whole summer in that house because I have 4 inches of letters pertaining to her coming to fix stuff and she hasn't. But I just wanted to let you know that I've actually put $2,000 of my own money into fixing and repairing her house, and I do have every single receipt as well.
It's repaired now, yeah, maybe, but.
Okay, again, that's a
That's
RT.
not, like, I don't know why that's irrelevant.
No, yeah, exactly. Thank you. I'm going to end this right now. I appreciate everyone. I will close the hearing at 8:40 p.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Clayton moves it, second by Councillor Mamchuk, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Resolution, if approved, would read, therefore be resolved that council conditional use application C24-2021 is approved subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant obtains a building permit from the RM of Richot office. 2, secondary suites must conform to the use specific regulations in zoning bylaw 9-2019 section 5.6. 3, that the applicant must obtain an approved occupancy permit from the RM of Richot before any person resides in the unit. 4, that the applicant must comply with the municipal zoning bylaw parking requirements. 5, any outdoor lighting must be located, arranged, or shielded so that no light is directed at any neighboring property or roadway. 6, that the applicant shall ensure that all proposed construction conforms to the Manitoba building codes, fire codes, health standards, and any other municipal and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. Applicant may wish to seek the help of an engineer, architect, or other professionals who is certified in the field to ensure compliance. 7, that the applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may cause revoke of the conditional use at any time.
Thank you very much. I will open it up for council discussion. At this time, there's no public consultation, public speaking. It's just strictly council discussing this. So I'm just asking people to please respect that. Council, do you have anything to discuss or comment on?
This is Councillor Mamchuk. If I understand correctly, Mrs. Talot does not have an occupancy permit right now for her tenants?
Mr. CEO?
I don't believe so, because this is something that came forward to our attention just recently. So my answer to that would be no, that she does not have current occupancy permits.
You.
So another question, how can she continue renting these facilities out if there's no occupancy permit?
I think that is what she is in.
That's actually why I'm asking for this meeting, is for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to get that clarified. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shelley, I'll just ask you this time to turn off your microphone and camera, please. This is council's discussion period. Anything else from council?
What I wanted to ask staff, number 2 in the condition was secondary suite must conform to the use specific regulations. Does that also include the maximum permitted size of 860 square feet? Or will we need that added?
That it does include that size, the maximum size.
Okay, I just wasn't sure on that because the wording was use specific, if that was for included size.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else on council?
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'm still reading.
Councilor Clayton, go ahead.
My only concern here is with potential compliance issues down the road. I know we have a good team, especially our building inspector, but that would really be my only concern in this situation.
I appreciate that, Councilor Clayton. Councilor Belanger, did you want to go ahead now?
Sure, I'm a little torn with this one because I'm just reading the secondary suite definitions from the Manitoba guideline practices, municipal planning guidelines for secondary suites. And, you know, there's kind of a push to encourage secondary suites due to the lack of rental housing or affordable rental housing. And by going through these processes, it's bringing up everything up to legal standpoint. So, you know, our conditions say that the whole place needs to be brought up to current codes. And I think that's going to be a huge undertaking, but I think it's mandatory and vital in this situation. So all this back and forth, he said, she said, what's going on, it's all going to boil down to the actual inspection and the code standards. And if that can't be met, then it's not done. There's no occupancy permit given. So there's a whole document on guidelines that I would hope the office has, or we could review that moving forward. There's a section too saying not in my backyard, because it brings a whole stigma associated with rentals and rental properties, which is what we're seeing here. You know, it's hard to control who goes in there, what type of renter is going to go in there. So that's why I'm saying I'm torn, because, you know, you want to accommodate the affordable rental opportunities out there, but with affordable rental opportunities, as we've seen, you get the lower. It's just tough. It's a stereotype. It's a stigma. It's a tough one. I just wanted to say those points.
So, Councilor Belanger, I just want to be clear. You're indicating that by choosing yes to this, there's going to be more opportunity to inspect, make sure everything's done properly, and create a secondary suite that complies. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, and if we didn't, this could go neglected. If that is the case, I'm not saying it is, but if that is the case, it could go neglected and continue on as it is. without anyone checking in, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we on the same page. Okay, anyone else?
This
Go
is
ahead.
Councilor Mamchuk. It's going to be a big capital investment, so and it has to go to code. And I think Mrs. Tello is very aware of it, and she could be successful a landlord if she meets all the requirements.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Councilor Mamchuk. Anyone else on council? No. Okay.
I just want to make a comment, like we've come up against, I think there was a situation in Grand Point. I'm pretty sure we denied it just because there are rental places out there. Do we want secondary suites? It's just something that we need to decide whether we want to do or not. So that's a tough call.
Yeah, it is.
My comment for that would be that we have it in our bylaw as secondary suites, so.
I don't think
we
you
did
can
want it
deny
there.
anyone.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I say one thing in regards to
Kelly, you can't. We're done. It's just council's time, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Anything else from council? Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Oh, give me a second. I'm way out of the voting section.
No rush.
I'm all over the map.
You're back on there, Councilor Belanger?
I have voted yes, thank you.
Okay. The vote is carried 4-1. Councillor Clayton voted against.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6.2.2, C25 2021, Max Pro Properties, 359 Dufault Drive.
This is in regards to allowing a multifamily dwelling in a residential general RG8 zone consisting of a 2-story sixplex in addition to an existing multifamily building. Notices were sent out to 100 meters of the said property, as well as sent out to the McDonald-Richot Planning District, Richot Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CEO, and Fire Chief. It was posted on site, as well as the Île-des-Chênes Country Store, Municipal Board, and Municipal website.
Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing at 8:50 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person? Tanya, just a quick-
No, there is not.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online? I do, just before anyone else wants to speak, I did get a message from the applicant. He was online until 8:45 and he says, please apologize to council for me. He does have a family commitment he had to make for 8:45. He did not think it would go this long. He does assure us, as always, as the current builder and developer in Richot, he will continue to create promising and aesthetically pleasing and structurally sound buildings. So that's from the applicant. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there's not.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
I will give it one last call. Anyone wishing to make general comments to speak in favor or against? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 8:51 PM. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Pelletier.
Councillor Pelletier moves, second by
Councillor Blanchet.
Councillor Belanger. Thank you.
Therefore, be resolved that conditional use application number C25-2021 is approved with the following conditions. 1, the applicant obtains a building permit from the Armin Richot office for the construction of the building. 2, applicant shall provide copies of stamped engineer plans. 3, parking on full or on municipal right-of-way by owners or tenants is strictly prohibited. 4, parking shall comply with the municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019 section 3.21. 5, if yard lighting is to be used, the applicant shall ensure lighting levels do not cause any disruption or a nuisance to the neighboring area or affected roadways. 6, that the applicant shall provide a surveyed site and drainage plan. 7, that the applicant ensures that all proposed construction conforms to the Manitoba building codes, fire codes, health standards, labor laws, and any other municipal and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. 8, any signage shall comply with the municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019 as amended, section 11. 9, that the applicant enters into development agreement with the municipality. And 10, that the applicant provides a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of the order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you very much. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add or comments on? I know this was discussed at planning.
Not here.
Yeah, I think we were discussing the parking, and we've got an updated parking plan, which makes it more visual in what they're doing. So
Perfect. So we're good with that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit for the lot here. We've got a lot of wasted space in the back there, so
Yeah.
more opportunities here.
For sure. Okay, nothing else. Council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Council, I need a 30-second break here. I have to deal with some work for 1 second. I will be right back. Please take a
Okay,
break.
I gotta be excused for a minute too. Thank you.
2 minutes, thank you.
I'm good to go, Mr. Mayor, when people come back.
Thank you. I had to order milk, so. I'm ready when everyone else is. Mr. CEO, Councillor Mamchuk, I believe we're just waiting for you.
I'm back.
Perfect, thank you. I apologize for that, council and administration and the people watching. We will continue with 6.2.3 C26-2021 Colombo 218 Gordon Grove Road.
The proposal is to allow a child care center in a rural residential zone, RR. Again, Planning Act requires us to send notices to 100 meters of said property, also sent out to the McDonald Retail Planning District, with Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CEO, Fire Chief, and posted on our municipal website, municipal window, and connect message was sent out.
Thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 8:57 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor on the phone or online? Was there anything received in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person or online? Sorry, on the phone or online? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Thank you. I will give it one last call if there's anyone wishing to make any comments or wishing to speak in favor or against in person or online or through phone. I will close the public hearing at 8:59 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Blanchet.
Thank you.
Therefore, be resolved that conditional use application C26-2021 to allow a child care service for approximately 70 children is approved, subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant shall obtain a building permit from the municipality prior to constructions of the proposed building. 2, the maximum size of the accessory building in our rural residential zone is 2,400 square feet. The applicant must obtain a variation to increase the size of the proposed building. 3, the applicant must ensure that all proposed construction conforms to the Manitoba building codes, fire codes, health standards, labor laws, and any other municipal and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. 4, that the outdoor lightings must be located and arranged or shielded so that no lights is directed at any neighboring property or roadway. 5, that the applicant shall obtain appropriate driveway permits from the municipality for proposed additional driveways. 6, the applicant shall provide parking according to section 321 of our zoning bylaw 9-2019 as amended. 7, that the applicant shall comply with the municipal noise bylaw 14-2003. 8, that the applicant shall not cause the generation of undue traffic or congestion in the neighborhood. 9, that the hours of operation shall be limited from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. 10, that the items stored outside shall be kept in a tidy manner so not to create any unsightly appearances. 11, that the applicant shall erect a 5-foot fence surrounding the backyard property. 12, any signage shall comply with municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019 section 11. 13, in adherence to the Community Child Care Standards Act section 7(1), the applicant shall obtain all required provincial licensing and approvals to operate a child care center of the proposed size. 14, that the applicant shall provide proof to the municipality that they have obtained all required approvals and licensing from the province of Manitoba. And 15, that the applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issue may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Seal. Open up for council discussion. Council?
I'll start off. 70 kids in a rural residential area. I don't believe this is the flavor that Grand Point wants to move with having businesses in the area. We have now got a new industrial business area for businesses like this. We're trying to keep it centralized so that the traffic flow on Burnett, where we've just put in a new walking path, would just increase dramatically. And they want to put what I understand, they want to put a driveway off of Burnett, which to me just doesn't seem as safe. Those are my 2 cents. It just doesn't seem like a good fit. That's all.
I appreciate that, Councillor Belanger. I think you're referring to the area that also has the gymnastics center and I think potentially a dance studio coming up, or maybe that didn't go through.
That's correct. No. Yeah.
That's a better fit in that region. No, I hear you. Anyone else on council? No. Okay. I guess we will. Council, please cast your vote.
Can I say something before you cast your vote?
No, sorry, Mr. Colombo, we've already gone through the process of the public hearing and it's closed now, so it's council's time to vote. And so thank you very much. I appreciate that though. Mr. CEO, I pressed the wrong button. I actually did vote against this and I apologize. I think I pressed yes.
I will update the vote. The vote is defeated 5-0.
Thank you very much. I apologize for that glitch. Okay, continuing on. 6.2.4 C29-2021 Neufeld 2598 PR 200.
The proposal is to allow a broadcasting and motion picture studio in a commercial general CG zone. Again, notices have been sent to 100 meters of the said property, as well as the, keep opening up the wrong file here, sorry folks, as well as the McDonald Retail Planning District, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CO, Fire Chief, and studio contact applicant, posted on site on the municipal window as well as the municipal website, and connect message has been sent to the surrounding area.
Thank you. Open public hearing at 9:05 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
And is there anyone left in person?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone?
I can speak. It's Juliet. How are you all?
Hi, Juliet. We're well. How are you?
Oh, really super busy, early morning on the film set right now. I just want to thank you all for considering the opportunity to bring a film studio to the municipality. To me, it's a really important venture for business, for community development and growth. I know that the studio is something that is very dear to me because I have worked in the industry for over 25 years, and I continue to make film productions happen in Winnipeg. So my intents are always to have at least 5 film productions going a year. And then since COVID, though, it's been reduced down to 3, which is still a considerable amount of production. The facility will house an LED screen similar to how the Mandalorian is shot, and it has quite a bit of interest around the world with individual studios such as Netflix, Amazon, Universal, Disney, who are looking for this stage to be built and wanting to access for long-term rental. So that's all I can say at this point with having still working at my desk here. So I thank you. And if anyone has any questions, I'm more than welcome to answer what I can. I'm not sure if Dave is online, but because I just don't know how to get a hold of him right now because he left his phone home.
That's okay. No, Council, do you have any questions for Juliette?
Not here. We had a pretty good meeting there, the planning meeting. I think a lot of questions were answered. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Councillor Belanger, you were going to say something?
Yes, I have again, yes, thank you for the presentation. I'm excited to see how this is going to look. It would have been nice to see a bit better plans, I guess, rather than just some. I understand that time is of essence, but I'm excited to see what your plans for this building are going to be, like actual drawn up drawings for it. So do you anticipate when we will, I guess that's just moving forward, so that's not relevant right at this point.
We are continually working out how the design will work on the property, and we just contracting an engineer so that we are doing the most effective way of, creating the foundation for the land. So we want an engineer's report on what the best way to build on the property would be. So that's what we're working on at the moment.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good talk. Anything else from council?
Not here.
Not here.
No. Okay, thank you very much. I will continue the rounds. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Was there anything received in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anyone, anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Thank you. One final call. If there's anyone wishing to make any final comments to speak in favor or against. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 9:09 p.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier moved. Was that it?
No.
No. Councillor Clayton moved it, correct?
Yes, correct.
And was Councillor Mamchuk that second? No. Do I have a seconder?
Yeah,
I believe that is correct.
Okay, Councillor Mamchuk seconded. Thank you.
Therefore be resolved that conditional use application C29 2021 to allow a broadcasting and motion picture studio is approved, subject to the following conditions. That the applicant shall ensure that this use is not noxious, offensive, or hazardous by reason of emissions or productions of odor, dust, refuge matter, waste, vapor, gas, smoke, vibration, or noise, and that this use shall not create a nuisance beyond the property's sightline. 2, the applicant shall obtain appropriate building permits for the proposed construction, Part 9 buildings from the municipality, and Part 3 from the applicable authority. 3, that the applicant shall obtain the appropriate permits from the province regarding flood elevations, water, and septic systems. 4, that the applicant shall not cause the generation of undue traffic and congestion in the neighborhood. 5, that any outdoor lighting must be located and arranged and shielded so that the light is not directed at any neighboring property or roadway. 6, that the applicant shall comply with the municipal noise bylaw 14-2003. 7, that the applicant shall maintain the site and surrounding area in an orderly fashion so that it does not become unsightly. 8, applicant ensures that the use of the complies with all building codes, fire codes, and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. The applicant may retain engineer, architect, or other professional knowledgeable in this field to ensure compliance. 9, the applicant shall ensure that lot drainage does not affect adjacent properties. 10, signage shall comply with Part 11 of the municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019. 11, that the applicant shall obtain necessary permits from Manitoba Infrastructure for access to the property. 12, that the applicant shall provide parking in accordance to section 3.21 of our zoning bylaw. And 13, that the applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add or comment on?
Not here.
I think
Another exciting industry for the arm of Ridshot.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I agree. I think council loves to hear when something new and exciting comes to Ridshot, and hopefully we see it to it. Perfect. Okay, council, I guess we will cast our votes.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Perfect. Thank you again, everyone. We'll move on to item 6.2.5, C30-2021, Albert and Melissa Steinbach Holdings, 621 Discovery Drive.
The proposal is to allow a general contractor services and a commercial general CG zone. Sound like a broken record, but the notices were sent out to 100 meters of said property, as well as sent out to the McDonald-Ridshot Planning District, Ridshot Manager, Building Inspector, Council, CEO, Fire Chief, Imperial Oil, and the applicant as well. It was posted on site, as well as the municipal window, municipal website, and connect message sent out.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing at 9:14 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor in person?
No, there is not.
Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Albert, are you wishing to speak?
No, I don't have anything to say unless somebody has any questions, basically.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received in favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against in person?
No, there is no longer anyone in person in the council chambers.
Thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Thank you. One final call. If there's anyone wishing to make any final comments to speak in favor or against.
I guess maybe I'll just add, I'm new at this, so does anybody have any questions about the variance that we're asking for?
Council? Thank you. I appreciate that, council.
Not here.
Not here.
No, we've seen it in planning, Albert, so I do appreciate you asking the question, though.
Okay.
Okay, then no one else wishing to speak. I'll close the public hearing at 9:15 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Blanchet.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Peltier.
Therefore, be resolved that conditional use application C30-2021 is approved subject to the following conditions. 1, this use shall not be noxious, offensive, or hazardous by any reason of emissions or production of odor, dust, refuse matter, waste, vapor, gas, smoke, vibration, or noise, and shall not create a nuisance beyond the property's sightline. 2, storage of hazardous liquids, materials, or substances shall be approved in containers. 3, applicant shall obtain a building permit from the proposed construction from the municipal office. 4, that the applicant shall comply with the municipal noise bylaw 14-2003. 5, the hours of operation shall be limited from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. 6, any outdoor lighting must be located, arranged, or shielded so that no light is directed at any neighboring property or roadway. 7, that the applicant shall maintain the area for proper drainage so as to not affect the adjacent properties. 8, items stored outside shall be kept in a tidy manner so not to create an unsightly appearance. 9, the applicant shall ensure that all proposed construction conforms to the Manitoba building codes, fire codes, health standards, labor laws, and any other municipal and/or provincial permits and approvals as may be required. 10, that the applicant shall comply with the littering bylaw 5-2011. 11, that any signage shall comply with the municipal zoning bylaw 9-2019 part 11. And 12, that the applicant shall provide a signed confirmation letter accepting the terms of this order. There may be site audits conducted to ensure compliance, and any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Thank you, Mr. Shield. Open up to council discussion. Council, anything to add?
Not here.
Just that I might read for the CAO on the next one.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good fit. It's another great business coming in Richshot. I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Council, cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you very much. 6.2.6 C31-2021 Heartland Holdings Inc. 607 Discovery Drive.
Proposal is to allow a industrial multiplex in a commercial general zone, CG. Notices have been sent out to 100 meters of the said property, and same people as before have been notified.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the public hearing at 9:19 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? I believe the council chambers are empty, so is there anyone wishing to speak in favor online or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Anyone wishing to speak against? Council chambers are empty to my knowledge, so online or on the phone. Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
One last call. Any general comments to speak in favor or against, in person or online? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 9:19 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Councillor Clayton moves, second by Councillor Mamchuk.
Does council want me to read these conditions again, or they have them all on the resolution?
Council conditions, and we would appreciate if you just give us the short list because we have everything on our eyes.
The short list is items number 1 to 11.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'll open up for council discussion. Anything to add, council? Seeing none, please cast your vote. Maybe we should be doing this for future council meetings.
Waiting for Councillor Mamchuk.
Did you get it? Okay, I'll have to refresh it. It's a yes anyways, if you want, but I'll send it to you. I thought I did, sorry.
Okay, I will update it here. The vote is carried 5-0.
I'm sorry about that, Mr. CEO.
No problems.
Thank you. What are we on? Sorry, 6.3.1?
6.2.7.
6.2.7 C32-2021 Heartland Holdings 630 Discovery Drive.
This is another proposal to allow an industrial multiplex in the industrial agricultural zone, MA, different zone. Same area.
Same area, same notices. Thank you very much. I'll open the public hearing at 9:21 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? I believe council chambers are empty. So online or on the phone? Anything received in favor?
Nothing received.
Anyone wishing to speak against? Council chambers are empty, so online or on the phone. Anything received against?
Nothing received.
Thank you. One last call. Anyone wish to make general comment or to speak in favor or against, in person or online or through the phone? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 9:22 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Nope.
Council has the conditions listed from items 1 to 11 on the resolution.
Thank you very much. I'll open up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to add, discuss? We've seen these before. More great opportunities coming to Richshot in the Grand Point region. Good builder, good developer.
Yep.
Okay, cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. 6.3.1 bylaw 11-2021 close a portion of Park Lot 1, deposit 93 2021.
This is a public hearing that is required in order to proceed with the closing of that portion of the lot. Notices have been sent out to, that's the notice itself, but the notices have been sent out to 100 meters of the said property. It was also sent out to the McDonald Richshot Planning District, the Community Regional Planning Department, Public Works Manager, Building Inspector, Councillor, CEO, Fire Chief, as well as the applicants or proposed owners of Valley Fiber. Notice was also posted at the Case Provencher, at the Dépanneur Cheyenne, the municipal window, municipal website, and the connect message was also sent. Just want to check a look at the mailing list, and the second mailing list is the 100 meters of the said properties.
We're good.
We are good.
Thank you. I will open the public hearing at 9:24 p.m. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? In person, I believe there's no one there, so online or through the phone. Anything received in favor?
We received a letter from the St. Agathe CDI, basically in regards to the closing of the public reserve park for the purpose of locating telecommunications equipment and fiber net services in St. Agathe. The CDI is in full support of the bylaw. Access to high-speed internet was identified as a primary need for all residents in the community of St. Agathe surrounding areas. The provision of fiber connectivity has enabled the community to work, learn, access essential services, and stay in touch with family and friends from home. The development of the land in bylaw 11-21 is required to place a small communications building, and the provisions of a fiber internet and location is selected for its suitability for the project. The site is prepared in a manner that it is mindful of the adjacent property owners and receives minimal impact to the existing vegetation.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Anyone wishing to speak against? I believe there's no one in person, so online or on the phone against. And
Mayor, I missed the part where I can speak for. It's probably too late.
I'll bring you back after the rent, so just give me 1 second here. Anyone wishing to speak against? Anything received against?
Nothing received against.
Okay, one last call. Anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? I believe Mr. Demasak, you wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor and councillors. I'm just representing as a director of the CDI, St. Agathe CDI, and worked very closely with yourself, Mr. Mayor, and the RM to locate a particular property in St. Agathe. It wasn't easy to pick a spot because it was very limited as far as where we can locate Valley Fiber, and we ended up picking a spot which was very close to which is nearby the fire hall. And I'm in favor. I'm very happy that with your support for Valley Fiber to come into our community, and yeah, just wanted to say we're definitely in favor of that.
Awesome. I appreciate that, Mr. Denisak. Thank you very much. I'll give it one. Council, do you have any questions? Sorry.
Not here.
No, thank you. One final call. Anyone else wishing to make any comments in favor or against? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 9:27 p.m. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Clayton.
Thank you.
Okay, so basically we are jumping to 7.1 on the agenda for second reading of the bylaw to close the park. Portion of the.
Sorry, tech difficulties in 1 second. Can you see me there, guys? Sorry. I'll open it for council discussion. Council.
Not here.
Yeah, I'll just chime in really briefly here. This was a big infrastructure project for the community. I mean, I've been living here for 15 years. I think it was one of the biggest ones that I've experienced. And, and we needed to do it in an expedient manner as well. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People can't, work from home, or, university students are having trouble going to school. So, the project did move quick, and we're doing a bit of, administrative cleanup here. But if you look at the portion that we're closing, there was very little impact to the, to the existing trees, to the vegetation there. So, there's obviously no issues with this.
Thank you. Anything else from council?
Nothing here.
Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. Mr. CEO, 7.2 does not need a public hearing. Is that correct?
7.2 does not require public hearing. We already gave it between first and second reading, so therefore we could proceed with third reading if council chooses to do so.
Thank you. I lost my track here. Where are we? We're at 7.2.
Right.
7.2 bylaw 11/2021. Close a portion of Park Lot 1, Deposit 935, 2021, third reading. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Clayton.
Councillor Clayton moves. Second. Sorry, I missed that one.
Councillor Mamchuk.
Thank you.
Nothing more to add, but third reading.
Thank you. Council, final thoughts? Please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 8.1.1, 2022 Board of Revision, appointment of board. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Belanger.
Thank you. Second.
Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you.
Every year, council needs to appoint a board of revision for the upcoming assessment possible appeals. That board is usually comprised of 3 at-large members. In this case, we have Mr. Tom Tenhoff, Mr. Jeff Leclerc, and Mr. Wayne Hatfield, and they are to be joined by 2 council members. Those lucky councillors are Councillor Belanger and Councillor Mamchuk.
Perfect. Thank you. Council discussion. Councillors Belanger and Mamchuk, you are looking very forward to this opportunity and love tax time, right?
I love it.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say that we've been on this board since I've been on council and have yet to sit on a hearing. So maybe this year. No, it's a good thing because everybody then pays their taxes. So
exactly. Okay, council, please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. 8.1.2 Red Boy and Watershed District Expansion Proposal. Do I have a mover?
Councilor Mamchuk.
Pelletier.
Councillor Mamchuk moves, second by Councillor Pelletier.
This is in regard to the Red Boyne Watershed District. They are looking at expanding the memberships here to include a few municipalities, some of the larger municipalities that would be considered in the Red Boyne watershed area. A resolution of council is required to move ahead with the proposal if council chooses to do so. A copy of the expansion is there for council. Basically, I think in a nutshell, RECHOT is of a small proportion as compared to other participating members. The key function here, which doesn't happen very often, is that our membership fees would drop from $3,200 to about $2,800 as per the proposed fee structure if all members join in. Of course, this is going to be open and flexible depending the number of member municipalities that would join in.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I'll open it up for council discussion. Council, do you have anything to discuss, comment on?
None here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Council, please cast your vote.
The vote is carried 5-0.
Can you hear me there? Sorry. Okay, item 8.1.3, August 2021 building permit reports. Do I have a mover?
Councilor Mamchuk.
Councillor Mamchuk, second by Councillor Clayton.
So the report for August is that we've got 20 new building permits of value of 5.3 in construction value, total permit fees of 22,000, totaling total year-end total for now at 188 permits, 46 million in construction value at $145,000 of permits. And again, council remembers the figures from 2020, and we're well ahead of that at this point of the game.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I'll open up for council discussion. Great to see the numbers continue to rise. A little quieter in August, mind you, compared to the rest, but I think maybe that's common. Nothing else from council. Please cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
Thank you. And item 11, adjournment. Do I have a mover?
Councillor Belanger.
Don't all jump up at once here. Councillor Belanger, second by Councillor Pelletier.
Yep.
Any final words of wisdom? Seeing none.
Under 10 o'clock, that's good.
Yeah, cast your vote.
Vote is carried 5-0.
So I'll close the meeting at 9:36 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone, for the time. Please stop recording.